The new version of Conquest is here, and your boy Scribble is going to help you hit your red box. Today we are looking at Sector 1 of the Ezra Conquest, and I will get you all of the feats done with some cheesy goodness. Let's do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, Sector 1. Sector 1 is always the easiest sector out of all of the Conquest sectors because it has the easiest enemies. Let's take a look and see which feats we have to gain today. So, first and foremost, we have got Hesitant Approach. This means we need to inflict Tenacity down on the enemies 50 times or more. Now, you do not have to actually apply it. It is only attempt to apply, but with Tenacity down, you'll find it's one of the only debuffs in the game that just cannot be resisted whatsoever. You cannot stop Tenacity down. Next up, we need to win 10 battles with Morgan Elsbeth surviving, and this honestly isn't as bad as it first sounds, even if you've got a low gear Morgan Elsbeth. Then we need to gain Decay 50 times from Never-Ending Forces. This one is actually very easy, even if you've only got Marquia released on Enoch, Death Trooper, Peridia, or Night Trooper. They can be like low gear, 3 stars. As long as you've got the abilities leveled up, you'll be absolutely fine. And finally, I have no idea what that even means. We need to defeat 35 enemies with Gungan units. Not a problem at all. Now, what I would recommend before we begin is we take a look and we see if we can find the following teams available to you in your Conquest Sector 1. Firstly, we want to find ourselves a crew node. So you want to find Hux with crew in there. Try to tag one of these in each and every sector. It's the most useful team to find when you're farming buffs and debuffs. So we want one of those, and also if you can find yourself an Old Republic node, that is also very, very good. It doesn't have to be Old Republic. I'm going to use it for showcasing one of our feats, but you could also do it with any team that does a lot of out-of-return attacks. So anything like Mon Mothma, maybe even Geos, Imperial Troopers, all that sort of good business should be relatively okay. I just happen to use the Canderous and the Karth setup over here. Okay, let's break it down. We're going to go with 50 Tenacity downs, ups, downs, move it around, Tenacity downs in one battle. Let's go. So it is going to be up against this crew node. If you have got one, all the better. Failing that, you can go against anything that's got a lot of survivability, like a Phoenix team potentially, or even a Bo-Katan team if you've got a Mandalorian setup, something like that. Otherwise, you can gradually use this team throughout the entire sector. So, data discs, what are we looking for? Not a whole lot. You want to make sure that you've got Volatile Accelerator at the very least, a little bit of Amplify Agony just to help you wear down the enemy team, and then that's it. Nothing, make sure you have no data discs on that's going to ramp the amount of damage you do. Anything that's increasing your offense is bad for this particular feat. Do not have it on. Just have something to do a little bit of damage, and Volatile Accelerator is basically required. Essentially, what you want to be doing is taking in a full CLS team and just leaving crew alive, basically. I've accidentally taken an R2-D2 here instead of Chupio, but you see it's absolutely flying. All we're going to do is take out all of the enemy team, and you'll find that you just can't kill Kylo Ren and Mast. He just stays alive forever, permanently stunned, and every single time Chewie does that basic over there, we're putting this on auto basic, he is applying Tenacity down. And he's obviously going to assist all guarded allies, so he's assisting CLS, he's assisting Han Solo as well. Every single time they do some damage, he's assisting, applying Tenacity down. So after you've done 50 attacks across those two units, congratulations, success, you have got your 50 Tenacity downs. You simply cannot win this battle. Look at the amount of dots I've got on crew right now. He's got over 1,000 dots on him. What a strange individual. And this is it, guys. You can do this in many sectors to get lots of the debuff feats or even some of the buff feats, just timing out the battle like this. Put it on full auto, go make yourself a cup of tea, and come back later. Now, of course, you can just use a CLS team to gradually get Tenacity down throughout the rest of the actual phase. That means you don't have to drop a battle or waste a battle. But this one is just a quick and easy way to get it out of the way and done. You can also, as you're progressing through this node, go ahead and use a BAM lead with Queel and IG-11, and I've thrown in 2 units that are going to be required over the course of battle. So Morgan Elsbeth, you do need her to survive 10 battles, and Master Qui-Gon Jinn, I believe you need to win 15 battles as part of global feats. Now, Master Qui-Gon Jinn's second special, that AoE, provides AoE Tenacity down. Similarly, IG-11, when he does his first special as well, does an AoE Tenacity down as well. So on this, I know we just lost Morgan Elsbeth there, I think she was quite low on stamina at this point. On this particular team, you can potentially manage to get yourself you know, a good 15, 20 plus tenacity downs and clear out 2 feats as well. 1 global feat, 1 sector feat. Depends how strong your Morgan Elsbeth is. Now, if you come back at a later date when you've got lots of volatile accelerators and amplify agonies, you will obviously chew through this team very, very quickly, and you don't have to worry about Morgan Elsbeth surviving. So those of you that have got no investment in her, I recommend you leave the feat for now and come back to it at the end of Conquest when you have more data discs. Those that are going to give you the opportunity to clear through this feat a little bit easier. If you happen to have fully geared up Gungans already, we can also do Morgan Elsbeth as a 4th, dropping out Jar Jar. Using Gungans with Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony is a very reliable way of clearing through nodes. They will do ridiculous damage because they do so much damage, or so many debuffs, sorry, on all of their abilities. It's a relatively easy way to clear through the sector, but again, very dependent on how much gear you have on your Gungans and if you happen to have Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony. Those are the data disc setups that I personally recommend. You can see here things get a little bit hairy for us for a moment, but in the end it's actually okay. We just start clearing out the units, doing a little bit of damage. At this point in time I only had Volatile Accelerator, which was grey, and 1 grey Amplify Agony, so I wasn't doing a whole lot of damage. But right now, if I come back with my current data discs, I would be able to one-tap this entire team. So I'll reiterate, guys, if you are worried about getting those kills, if you are worried about trying to get Morgan Elsbeth to survive, then just come back later on when you've got a full data disc set up. This one, though, is relatively straightforward. Just get rid of all the units, get rid of Anakin, and you'll be having a good time. Unfortunately, because we do have to kill, if you have the Zeta, I think it's on Boomadier. If you kill an enemy with an attack out of turn, they won't revive, so it kind of gets in the way of us getting multiple kills on some of the teams. So you're just going to have to try and use the Gungans as you progress. At the end of the day, you can always save it for the very final node, the bonus sector node, to farm Datacrons. You can, of course, use a JML team with 1 Gungan. If you have no strong Gungans whatsoever, go ahead and start, you know, farming the bonus sector node to earn yourself some additional Datacrons. Use JML as a leadership and just use the coin ability to call in a unit to get those additional kills. Now, if you go against something that can revive, like a Phoenix, like a Mon Mothma team or a Geonosian team like this, so long as you don't take in one of the units that can either dispel on a basic, i.e. Darples, or the one with the Zeta that lets attacks out of turn on attackers, Gungans permanently defeat enemy, like Boomadier, you should be able to... so essentially your option is Phalanx, by the way, guys. Just taking Phalanx as the 5th. I mean, this was really a roundabout way of me getting this done. But essentially just using JML with 3 other Jedi and call in to assist with the leadership ability from JML to do good damage, you should be able to get this done with relatively low gear Gungans regardless. Now, in an ideal world, you'd have lots of Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony. I didn't at this point, and you'd have the Voluntary Vanguard data disc to force the taunt permanently onto JML. But essentially, that's all we're going to be doing. We're just going to be looking to get multiple kills with Phoenix by doing this. Obviously, if you've got full team of Gungans, just use a full team of Gungans. Get them to have some kills. They're really strong in general. But you can see there, call in to assist, getting a kill. I'm leaving, in this instance, I'm leaving GBA alive so that he can potentially resummon that additional Geobrood Alpha. Geobrood Alpha? Geonosian Brute. And I think he does actually get a couple of them off. Let's go ahead and fast forward this. I think he gets another one on. That might be the 2nd or the 3rd. I'm not even sure. So I'm just doing some AoE damage here, trying to get some additional input over here, trying to slowly whittle them down, and hopefully they'll get another summon off again. So I think I slow things down here. Shaq-T can force a taunt on JML as well, which is quite nice. Yeah, there we go. We actually managed to get another summon. So that's kind of useful, right? I think I managed to get maybe 8 kills out of this with that Phalanx instead of the standard 5 or 6. So not too terrible in the end. Relatively reliable, but of course does need a Galactic Legend. Next up, we are going to head over to a Carthonasi node. Now remember, you can use something like a Mon Mothma or a Geos or Imp Troopers. Anything with a lot of attacks out of turns and a lot of turn meter generation will be good. We are looking to lose. Basically, you don't want to have any real data discs on. Literally, if you had none, it would be great. All you want to do is let the enemy just run over you like a complete train, like it's old Ben and don't even go there. So basically, the idea of this is we need Captain Enoch available. Captain Enoch does provide us with the source of decay. He is the only unit in the game that can pass decay to his allies, okay? So essentially, you need your Imperial Remnant allies, full team of Imperial Remnant allies with a Captain Enoch leadership. When the enemy, when your Imperial Remnant allies are going to drop to 1% health, they will instead gain a stack of decay. They can stack that up to 9 times. Doesn't count for Enoch himself, but all allies, okay? So if there are 4 of them, you can basically do 4 times 9, which is what? 37? 37 stances of decay in one battle, so long as the enemy does not crit, and we just need to gain 50. So after 2 battles, yes, you are wasting 2 battles, more or less anybody can get this done. Let's show the footage. So here we are, we're just going in and we're letting the enemy go wild. I'm just going to put it on auto basic because I don't want anything happening to my team. I don't want anything happening to their team, but we just go ahead. You see these little hand marks? That is decay. Every single time they try to kill us, if they cannot crit, they will instead give us a stack of decay, and it all ramps up to a maximum of 9, after which you will die. You can see over here, TIE Fighter Pilot has got 9 stacks of decay, now he's dead. Then they're going after Night Trooper. Night Trooper's currently on 3 stacks, now he's on 6 stacks. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. 7 stacks, there we go, and we've got 3 and 3 on the others. 8 stacks, 9 stacks, and then gone. Anybody can do this, guys. Even if you've only got marquee units, you just need to have 4 Imperial Remnant allies. Don't use Dark Trooper, of course. Dark Trooper will not get decay. He will just die instead. And that's about it, really. That's about it. It's relatively straightforward. Just try to let the enemy run over you. Isn't that handy? If you're looking to just have Morgan Elsbeth survive, I'd recommend just putting in alongside other strong characters. I'm using a gas team over here just because gas is always going to be taunting, and it's going to make sure, well, we keep on having lots of high damage output, and it's going to relatively reliably ensure that she doesn't get hit. So obviously you have to think about AoEs, but taking anything like Inquisitorius, if you have a Reaver lead with Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony, if you have CLS characters, just drop 1 unit, throw Morgan Elsbeth in there. If you have anything that's going to go first, Iden Troopers, JMK, anything that's got lots of damage output and will keep her hidden and keep her safe, will get this to work. You only need to do it 10 times throughout the course, and you can always do it on the bonus node at the end of Conquest when you have stronger data discs. It's not too big of a deal to get this one done, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we do eventually manage to clear out that node, 3-star it with gas. We're going to move on now then and check out the actual boss nodes, the mini boss node and the sector boss node, and see which feats that we need to actually get done here. So first up, you've got Jawas, and this is a little bit irritating. Now, we need to win with only light side characters. I'm not going to show you a team for that because literally almost any light side team that's strong, gas will do it. You know, Jedi Knight Revan will do it. Anything that's relatively strong should be able to survive. It'll help if you use something that is immune to percentile health effects so you don't get blown up by grenades, but essentially you only need to win the battle with full light side. Now the full squad of Geonosians, I don't know how strong you need to be, but essentially you want to be able to kill the enemy very, very quickly. Using a data disk setup, as we always say, Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony with Relic Geos will work. There is a slight nuance to it. You can see here, at the time when I did this, I just had the Certain Defeat data disk and 1 grey Amplify Agony. Nothing particularly strong here. Amplify Agony does, of course, help you with Geonosians because they do lots of debuffs, which is very useful. Now, my Geos are all sort of Relic 5 to Relic 3, nothing too crazy with no real good modding. What you want to do is don't do AoEs until you get rid of Jawa Scavenger. He's the most important person to get rid of immediately. Look at all those thermal detonators. After that, take out Jawa and just hope that you can kill them before they do anything too drastic, and hope that you can survive those bombs. So I'm just taking out units. We nearly lost, I think that was Geo Soldier there, and then we nearly lost Spy as well. So we did nearly lose some units, but eventually we do manage to clear out. Now, obviously you can come back at the end of it when you've got lots of thermal detonators, not lots of Volatile Accelerator, Amplify Agony setups, and you will do a much cleaner job of this than not what I did. But first things first, make sure you take out the Scavenger as quickly as possible. That stops you from getting all of those thermals as quickly. From there, just clean up one at a time, and hopefully you'll have a good time. Smashing. So we're looking at the sector boss feat, and I'm just going to go over the data discs that I'm running. Let me move my head out of the way very quickly. Sorry about that. I've put me over here. So I'm using Voluntary Vanguard, Volatile Accelerator, Decay Turn Meter, and 2 Amplify Agonies for this setup. Back over here. Wonderful. Now, in order to do this, yeah, like in my opinion, if you want to either get the kill with Queen Amidala, if you want Boomadier surviving, your best bet is probably to use something like a JML team. if you're just looking for the Boomadier to survive, then you could probably go in with something like a CLS team using lots of Amplify Agnies, but we're going to use JML for this particular one with Queen Amidala. So we want as many Jedi as we possibly can. Anything with multiple attacks will be great. So I'm going to take in Cal Kestis, I'm going to take in Shakti, and let's take in maybe Hermit Yoda, and then we'll throw in Queen Amidala. Now, I know mine is Relic 9, guys. I understand that. That's a lot of Relic levels, right? I get it. You don't need Relic 9. As long as you've got decent investment in your JML team with lots of protection, you should be absolutely fine. We are trying here to take advantage of Amplify Agni and Volatile Accelerator. It's going to do all the heavy lifting for us, and of course we can coin in this wonderful woman. Now, thankfully, there is absolutely no Malak in this team. He would cause us more issues. So we're just going to AoE at the start, and I'm going to get rid of that taunt. And then I'm not going to do an AoE right now. I'm just going to see if we can do that. Unfortunately, we got fear on Queen Amidala, which is not ideal because in order for her to actually do something, she needs to not be feared. We can't call her to assist if she's feared. All right, can somebody please just actually, if I swap over now, if we just swap over, can't swap over, of course, because she's feared. So I'm just basicing now. I'm just timing it out. All I need is her available. Okay, great. So we've got Bast Lashan fallen. We're going to coin and call in Queen Amidala. There we go. That's all you're looking to do. That's literally it. It, in a nutshell, is to just call in Queen Amidala when the enemy's got low health. Now, you can do it very easily with a wave down from JMK. JMK's wave ability does so many debuffs that it more or less kills anybody it uses it on. So you do the wave ability and you can just call her in. Well, okay, Malak, of course, Malgus, sorry, does just heal up instead. But that's fine. That's fine. Using it on somebody other than Malgus would work wonders. After this, we're just going to finish off, I think. We'll just call in Jedi Cal, and then that will be that. Boom. Just like that. Use that coin and ability, and that will get you your kill with Queen Amidala. Shouldn't be too hard if you do have JML. Now, if you do not have JML, you can use the same approach, but I'd recommend going in with a Thrawn lead with Lord Vader or Thrawn lead with Moff Gideon to essentially give yourself the opportunity to do lots of AoE damage when the debuffs trigger. Essentially, under a Thrawn lead, you'll have the ability to swap turn meter as well as cleanse off debuffs. But having someone like Lord Vader applies a bunch of debuffs to the enemy team at the start of his turn. So does Moff Gideon with that demoralized debuff. That will more or less kill the entire enemy team, and then you should be able to swap a turn over to Queen Amidala for her to do some sort of damage to defeat the enemy, either with her AoE or with a basic, and it should be relatively okay because the enemy should be more or less dead. Getting Boomadier to survive then, I'll show you that Thrawn setup with Moff Gideon. I'm throwing in Echo and Han Solo here with Boomadier, lots of Volatile Accelerator, Amplify Agni, yada yada yada, you know the drill by now. So this one's a little bit weirder because they do have Grim Machinations, which means they are going to essentially recover a bunch of stuff when we deal damage to them. As you can see, all this sort of good business over here, which is really just bad business. And the cooldown increase does kind of suck, but this is the way it is sometimes. Okay, when I get to actually have some turns, I think we might be okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Unfortunately, that cooldown increase was a little bit inconvenient. Let's go ahead and dispel all the debuffs, all the buffs rather, and give them lots of stuff. And then I'll fracture Malgus, and then I guess we could just do some damage here, and that's it really. That should be it. Obviously, it's a little bit sketchy, but if you've got that, if you've got the Voluntary Vanguard, you should be able to stop the enemy from targeting your Boomadier at the start, and that should make life a little bit on the easier side. There we go, just throw some stuff at him. Gosh, he is very chunky, isn't he? And there you go, you'll eventually manage to get through it. Now, obviously there are better teams to use it. If you could drop one of those units and throw in Lord Vader, that would be ideal, does more damage. Alternatively, you could use Reaver Inquisitorius to much the same effect. And that is going to wrap up our Sector 1 video, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing to your boy Scribe. I will see you all in the Sector 2 video very, very shortly. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.